What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's just Dhillon here. Are you a first-time home buyer and cannot decide whether to buy a house or a condo first? Well, then this is the video for you. In this video, I'm going to discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of owning both types of property, and we're going to go into deep detail in which is the best option for you guys. Let's start by defining what is a condo. A condo is actually a type of ownership and not a building. Now, you must be asking, what do I mean by that? Let's sit down and let's discuss about it. Okay, so when we start talking about a condominium, people start thinking right away high-rise buildings. However, that is not always the case. Condominiums can also be townhouses. Condominiums can also be single-family homes where they share this background, they share the same kind of landscaping and the same kind of utilities. So those are different types of properties that can also be considered condominiums. So when you're buying a condominium, you're buying to be a part of the whole building. You have exclusive rights to the particular unit that you bought, but you share the common spaces and all the different amenities with the other owners of those particular units. Now that we know the definition of a condominium and what is a condominium, now let's get into the advantages and disadvantages of owning one. Alright, so the advantages of owning a condominium basically boil down into two main categories. The first of those categories being lifestyle, and the second of those categories being cost. When we talk about lifestyle and when you own a condominium, usually you're owning a condominium because you want a much simpler lifestyle. You have less repairs to think about. You have in-house amenities, whether that's a pool, whether that's a spa, whether that's the gym, as well as you have enhanced security features. So those are some of the advantages in the lifestyle category. Now, let's talk about cost, which is the second category and the second advantage of owning a condominium. Usually in most Canadian cities, condominiums are much cheaper than single family homes. So based on a per square feet basis, owning a condo would make sense if you're just trying to get into the market and you don't have that big down payment to own a single family home. So then you can go for the condominium. Okay guys, now that we had talked about some of the advantages of owning a condominium, let's talk about some of the disadvantages. The three main disadvantages of owning a condominium is noise, flexibility, and privacy. Let's talk about noise. It's pretty self-explanatory. When you're living in a building with different types of unit owners, you're not going to get along with all of them. Some might be much noisier, some might be much quieter. So that factor is a big deterrent for myself personally to buy into a condominium because I want my own privacy. That's the first point, which transitions into the second point, which is privacy. When you're buying into a condominium, yes, you have exclusive rights of the particular unit that you bought. However, you're sharing the whole building, you're sharing the public amenities with the different owners of that whole building. So you might have privacy for your exclusive unit. However, you don't have full freedom of doing whatever you want because you're a part of a big community. And last but not least, guys, it is flexibility. That's one of the biggest deterrents based on my personal opinion. And what do I mean by flexibility is, let's say you bought a condominium this particular year, and based on the particular layout of that unit, you don't really like it. Let's say you want to do some renovations, you want to put some walls, take down some walls, put in some new drywall. You cannot do that without getting approval from the condo board. So how does that whole process look like? First, you got to plan out what kind of renovations you want to do, how much is it going to cost you, what are the kind of changes you want to do to a particular unit. Once you get all that proposal done, you got to present it in front of the condo board, and the condo board is going to decide whether they approve those renovations or whether they don't approve those renovations. So that flexibility plays a lot into that freedom of living and doing whatever you want because you are the one paying for that unit. However, unfortunately for condominiums, if you want to do any types of renovations, you got to approve it from the condo board. Now, you must be wondering, what about the condo fees? He did not talk about the condo fees. Well, I wanted to leave the worst for last. The condo fees are another big deterrent that a lot of people don't go for condominiums because if improperly managed by the condo board, condominium fees can go anywhere from $150 a month to over $450 a month if that particular condo board is not managing those funds really well. In the condo fees, guys, some utilities will be covered. However, that really depends from condominium to condominium, but that monthly condo fee will include monthly repair bills, future maintenance, all that kind of stuff, so you don't have to give it out of pocket. Now, another big drawback of the condo fees that not many people are talking about, how condo fees affect your approval rate. Let's talk about the property that's worth $300,000 and it's a single family house. When you're making $60,000, you can actually get pre-approved to buy that $300,000 home. However, for a condominium, that same $300,000 condominium has, let's say, $150 per month condo fee. So instead of now $60,000 to get approved for a $300,000 condominium, now you need at least $70,000 income. However, on the other hand, let's say that the condo board that you're buying that condominium in, they're not managing that condo fee well. So now instead of $150 condominium fee per month, it's $450. Now your income, instead of $70,000 to buy that $300,000 condominium, will have to be at least $80,000. So a quick tip before we start discussing what are the pros and what are the cons of owning a single family home, make sure that you're part of the condo board, because it is the condo board who is deciding what to do with your monthly contributions to the condo fee. So those were some of the things that you need to consider before buying a condominium, as not a lot of people are talking about those. So I wanted to bring those to your attention. Now let's talk about my favorite subject, which is single family homes. Let's talk about the pros and cons of buying a single family home and which one is better. What are the pros? I've categorized the pros into three categories: freedom, flexibility, and privacy. Basically almost everything in contrast to the condominium. Freedom: when you're buying a single family home or a duplex or a triplex, you're the owner of that property alongside the bank. However, the bank is not going to limit you to do any type of renovations. So as you see in my backyard, if I want to do any type of renovations, I want to add a swimming pool here, I want to tear out the whole backyard and add a double car garage in my backyard, I can do all of that, and actually that will add property value to the actual property. So that's a big advantage of owning a house, which is the freedom to do anything to your property. Alongside freedom comes flexibility. Flexibility goes hand in hand with freedom, which basically means if I want to paint the house any kind of way, I can do that. If I want to tear out and do some renovations inside the property, I can do that. If I want to rent out my house, I can do that. And last but not least, it is privacy. Privacy, it's a big thing here in Canada, and why people are buying single family homes, because as your family grows, as you have children, you want a house to call home. You don't want to share public spaces, or you don't want to share amenities with different kind of unit owners in a condominium building. That's what you get within a house. If you have a swimming pool here, it is for you to use, it's not for the entire building to use. So that's another advantage of owning a single family home. Now, what are the two main disadvantages of owning a single family home? They can be categorized into responsibility and cost. Responsibility: when you own a single family home, it's a relationship between yourself and the bank. So the bank is not going to interfere in anything that you do. However, if some repairs come up, let's say the roof starts leaking or the furnace blows out, it is your responsibility and you're out of money pocket to fix that. There's no condo board fees, there's no reserve fund study that the condo will provide you the money to do those repairs. It is you yourself that out of pocket will have to go out there and fix those things. The second biggest disadvantage of owning a single family home are the associated cost of ownership. Mostly in most Canadian cities, it's going to be more expensive owning a single family home than it's going to be owning a condominium. However, as I mentioned, owning a single family home or a duplex or a triplex comes with a lot of advantages, as I mentioned before. Now, the question in your mind might be, which is the better option out of the two? Let's get to the tripod and answer that. The answer to that question, like everything in life, is it depends. If you're looking for a low maintenance kind of lifestyle, much more simpler with access to amenities within that building, closer to transportation, then condominium is the way to go. However, if you want much more flexibility, much more freedom to do whatever you want in your property, and much more privacy, then a house is the way to go. If up until now you're still watching, let's get into the juicy part. Another topic that gets thrown around a lot when comparing condos versus houses, it's the resale value. Well, let's talk about the resale value. In my personal opinion, comparing in the market that I am right now, I'll say the single family homes resale value is much higher than condominiums. However, in that particular case, it's not always true in bigger metropolitan cities such as Toronto and Vancouver, where some of the condominium resale values might be much higher than single family homes. However, in most Canadian cities like Winnipeg, like Calgary, like all the different cities around Canada, single family homes, if the property is up to date with renovations, the resale value of that property compared to a condominium, if we do let's say a 5 or a 10-year horizon, it's going to be much more than a particular condominium. Before ending this video, a townhouse might be a good consideration if you're actually unsure whether to buy a condominium or to buy a single family home, because a townhouse still offers that backyard option, although not as big as single family home. So that was it for today. If you guys found value in this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.